Today's topic we're going to learn about is slope. I've entitled it All About Slope. Now there seemed to be some confusion at first about how to graph, things like that. So I'm going to try and slow this down, take it a little simpler without 35 kids in class. So if I were to give you y equals 2x plus 1, you know automatically that the slope is 2, hopefully not, by now. But if you don't know what that means, you can make a chart thusly. Again, I'll go from -2 to 2. So I say 2, I'm trying to solve for y here. Y equals 2, x is -2, plus 1. 2 times -2 is -4, plus 1 is -3. Then I say y equals 2 times -1 plus 1. 2 times -1 is -2, plus 1 is -1. So you notice that -3 plus 2 gives you 1. So that's the pattern. -1 plus 2 is 1, 3, and then 5. So this number here, when x increases by 1, these numbers increase by 2. That's what this tells us. And the extra 1 is just for enjoyment, I suppose. So once you've done that, you can graph this. So I have 5 points here that I'm going to graph. I'll use a Sharpie so it's a little bit easier to see. The first point is -2, 3. The x value is how far we go left or right. Since it's negative, we go left, so that's 1, 2. And then the y value tells us to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. Put that point there. -1, -1, 0, 1, 1, 3, and 2, 5. Once I get all those points plotted, I can connect to the dots. And this is our y equals 2x plus 1 line. Now, let's do a suspension of disbelief and assume that we don't know what the slope is, and I want to find out. If you recall, we can do it two different ways. We can either do the change in y over the change in x, or rise over run. So I'm going to show you rise over run again. I'm going to go from this point here to this point here, so I notice I have to go over 3. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I go over 1, 2, 3. Rise over run is 6 over 3, which gives us a slope of 2, which we know works. The other way you could have done that is to pick 2 points, so I'll pick 2, 5, and 0, 1. Call this point 2 and this point 1. So you say 5 minus 1. I'm subtracting the y values here. And 2 minus 0. 5 minus 1 is 4. 2 minus 0 is 2. Again, that gives us a slope of 2. Okay? So that is the beginnings of slope. Now, sometimes they give you a table or a graph and you don't have this available to you, so I'll give you an example of that. I'm going to make an XY table here, -2 to 2. Say it's -7, -4, -1, 2, and 5. Now, given this table, I don't know what the slope or the y-intercept is. Actually, looking at this, I know that my y-intercept is going to be -1, because whatever the x value is, whatever the y value is when x is 0 is the y-intercept. So far, I know that y is going to equal mx minus 1. I'll pick 2 and 0 again as my 2 points. So the first y value is 5. The second y value is -1. 2 minus 0. 5 minus -1 is actually 5 plus 1, so that's 6. 2 minus 0 is 2, so our slope here is 3. So my formula that I think works is y equals 3x minus 1. Now I'm not quite sure if that works. I know it works for these 2 points, but let's pick another one. I'll try -2, 7. The y value is -7, and the x value is -2. 3 times -2 is -6 minus 1, so -7 equals -7. Does -7 equal -7? Yes. Therefore it works, and this would be our solution. So this hopefully is it's a quick, but hopefully an easier way of finding the slope. Now occasionally they'll give you a graph like this, and you can do that 2 ways. You can either take 2 points, or you can do rise over run. If the graph were to be negative slope, like hopefully you can see this way, you notice that it goes down and over, so that would be negative over a positive, and that would have a negative slope because this slope is negative. Hopefully you can see that, and hopefully this helps you out a little bit so you can review it when you need to.